Yeah, we've got 4 games left here in the regular season. They're all big. We're 1 game up on A&M and with a 1-game lead, so that regular season championships in our hands. We're in full control of it. If we take care of business on the road at South Carolina, and then we got 2 home games and then a road game at A&M to close it. So, we've stressed the importance of coming ready to play. I think South Carolina's been trending in the right direction. They've got good momentum going. They're playing their best basketball now. They got a brand new coach, Lamont Paris, who I've known. He was an assistant at Wisconsin, and he's done a good job. When you get a new coach, sometimes it takes a little while to get your system in. So they're playing better now. They've got good shooting. They're one of the better shooting teams in our league. We're going to have to guard the three-point line well, and then they get to the offensive boards well too. So we're going to have to do a good job on the defensive glass. But we only got 2 true road games left. This one and the A&M one. So we need to come out and play well on the road. We've seemed to play a little bit better at home here lately. So we need to get back to where we can play well on the road, because we're going to need both these wins on the road.
You mentioned their shooting, but G.G. Jackson's obviously one of the best freshmen in the league. Just what stands out about his game, and how big of a problem is he for guys like Brandon and Noah?
Yeah, G.G. was obviously committed to Carolina. He's super talented, decided to come out early. I think they didn't have any scholarships left there or whatever we'd heard. So he stayed in his home state at South Carolina. It was a great get for Lamont in his first year as a head coach. He's super talented. I think Brandon's number 1 in the country as far as freshmen go for scoring. I think Gigi's 6th. He shoots it well. He's got great mid-range game, gets to the rim, can handle it. He plays a lot more like a guard, similar to Brandon. They're both big wings that kind of play like guards. So, he's projected first-round pick. He's good. He's really good. We're gonna have different guys guarding him, different looks on him, but they did well in getting him to come there, and he's had a really good freshman year for him.
You guys are number 3 right now in defensive efficiency, and which is the same number you guys finished 2 years ago. What similarities or differences do you see between this defense and that defense?
Yeah, so we stressed this year getting to 3. I think we finished 92nd on Ken Palm's efficiency last year, which big reason why we had some of the upsets that we gave and some of the bad losses we had. When your offense is struggling, you need your defense to carry you, and I think we've had that this year. The similarities are the guys are taking it seriously and understand they have to guard, and we had pretty good depth both years. So if somebody's not guarding, you're just not going to play this year, just like it was 2 years ago, or we didn't have that depth last year. The other similarities, we got length, kind of positional size this year, and we didn't have it as much last year. You look at 2 years ago, Primo and Petty are kind of your 2 guards, 2-3. Herb Jones played a lot of 4 for us, but he's 6'8" and long. We could put Reese and Bruner in together and put Herb at the 3. Herb essentially was our starting point guard with, Petty, Primo, Keon Ellis. All those are big guards. Last year we were a lot smaller. This year we're a lot bigger. You look at our starting group, our front court, 6'9", 6'10", 7 foot. We've got great rim protection, which is a little bit of the difference. 2 years ago, I thought we had an elite level perimeter defender in Herb Jones. You kind of put him on anybody. This year, I think we've got an elite level rim protector with Bediako, where, scheme-wise, we're trying to send a lot of stuff down Charles, who does a great job protecting the rim. And we maybe don't have a Herb Jones, but we've got pretty good overall defenders that take it seriously, and we've got an elite level rim protector that we can kind of game plan around and send guys downhill to the rim. But regardless of how we're getting it done, we're getting it done, like you said, top 3 in the country. 2 years ago when we won the SEC, we're top 3 in the country in defense efficiency right now. We got to keep it there.
It was discussed in court this morning that Brandon's car was involved with Darius' situation. Just how comfortable were you with his proximity to that? And also, if there's any NBA scouts who might be inquiring, what would you say to them about that?
Yeah, I mean, we've known the situation since we've been fully cooperating with law enforcement the entire time. I mean, the whole situation's sad. I mean, you just think of it. We team closed practice with a prayer for the situation today. Again, knowing that we had this trial today. I mean, you think of Jamia and her family and Kane, really think about her son Kane that was left behind. So it's sad. We knew about that. I mean, you can't control everything anybody does outside of practice. Nobody knew that was going to happen. College kids are out. Brandon hasn't been in any type of trouble, nor is he in any type of trouble on this case, like in the wrong spot at the wrong time. So we'll address it when I'm sure NBA scouts will ask, they do their homework. But yeah, I mean, I think the article that it came out in also stated Brandon's been interviewed. He's they're comfortable with everything that happened there.
You talked about G.G. Jackson out of South Carolina, but you have two South Carolina guys of your own in Clowney and Nick Pringle. Just how excited are they to kind of go home? And then what did you see out of high school with Clowney in the state of South Carolina that he would be such a good fit for y'all's system? Yeah,
we kind of got a homecoming for the two of those with Pringle and Clowney. Clowney played against G.G. in high school. We saw Clowney playing in some AAU stuff in Atlanta. I mean, we saw the athleticism, the versatility, the fact he could step out, make threes. Perfect big for our system, that can kind of play 1 through 5, not 1 through 5, but can play 4 and 5, my fault. Can kind of play them both, step out, make threes. And his athleticism we thought could really help us on the defensive end, which it has. So with Pringle, we saw a lot of athleticism, kind of the guy that can also be a rim protector. He's still figuring out the defensive system and all that, and he's not quite as good as Charles at protecting the rim, but he's really athletic. He could possibly turn into a switch guy as he gets better and better. But with both of them, their length, athleticism, how we want to play fast, they fit in. With bigs, they can get up and down the floor well. So hopefully they go back and play well. Remember we had Juwan Gary from South Carolina. We went back, I think that was 2 years ago. We went back there. I think he started that game and got hurt right away. Yeah, hopefully these two are able to play the full 40 here this time.
Home court advantage is obviously big in general, but it seems like this year in the sport as a whole, it's something different. It's like at a different level. Is that accurate? And if so, why do you think it's happening?
We've been better at home. I don't know what the numbers are overall with everybody, but you think about that. The best way to compare it is look at the teams you played twice. Vandy, a lot bigger win at home than on the road. LSU, a lot bigger win at home than on the road. Multiple teams, it just seems like we played better. I don't have a great answer because there's always a little bit of home court advantage, it seems. I don't know. I know 2 years ago when you couldn't really have anybody in the stands or not very many people at all, it seemed like, maybe there wasn't as big a home court advantage because the crowds weren't as big, and it just seemed everywhere was empty gyms. It was an odd deal with the COVID year. I don't know if we're getting back to where we've got sellouts about every game. I don't know if that's the case. Obviously having a sold-out crowd's better than having 20% or 15%, whatever it was during COVID. So I don't know if that's part of it. I don't really have an answer for it. I talked to our guys about playing well on the road today before practice. Like, we need to start playing. We need to have more consistency where we're playing a lot better on the road. We're not going to be playing in Coleman for the SEC tournament, the NCAA tournament. We got it now. They won't be true road games, but they won't be home games either. So we've got to play a little bit better when we're not inside Coleman. So that kind of was my challenge to the team this morning. We'll see how well we can play on the road at South Carolina, because we're going to need to. It may come down to that last game with A&M. We're going to have to play well on the road there. They're only a game behind us, and this is our only other game before the A&M game on the road.
You only had to play Charles Bediako 14 minutes in the game against Georgia. Coming down the stretch and you're ready for the SEC and NCAA tournament, how advantageous is it when you can kind of rest players, not actually rest them, but give them less minutes, whether they're dealing with nagging injuries or they just played heavier minutes all year?
Yeah, I mean, with Charles, it obviously was a deal where he was hurt. You know, he decided to come back and give it a go against Tennessee. Wasn't anywhere close to where he needed to be, but we still tried to use him because kind of anchors our defense. So against Georgia, you know, he's a little bit better than he was against Tennessee, so it was nice that we didn't have to play him. What did he play, 14 minutes, is that what you said? Yeah, so, you know, Jaden Bradley, I think only played 14. He had the eye deal going a little bit. You know, some of those guys that had an injury or whatever, and you can just make sure that they're getting rested, it's good. I mean, this isn't a deal where we're planning to do some type of load management for like an NBA deal. Our guys are playing 2 games a week, not, you know, back-to-back nights or anything. So we're planning on playing everybody as much as we need to in each game. But, yeah, if you got a game where you're shooting it as well as we did against Georgia and you got a big lead and you can rest a guy that's recovering from an injury like Charles was, you know, we're going to take advantage of that situation.
Yeah, you mentioned Texas A&M. Has there been any really added emphasis on, you know, the importance of winning these next 3 games before you go to College Station?
Yeah, we're going to take them one at a time. I mean, we know, like, kind of talked about where it may come down to where we got to win a road game to win the SEC. You know, so we've only got one more chance. It was more we got to play better away from Coleman because we're going to have a possibility of playing 9 games away from Coleman after the regular season's done. So, but we're taking them one at a time. I think when you start to look at Arkansas, Auburn, A&M, all of a sudden you screw up the South Carolina one in front of you. So we haven't talked about Arkansas, Auburn, or A&M at all. We just, what do we got to do to win South Carolina? I think you take them one at a time. You win this one, then you look at Arkansas. You just keep taking them one at a time. So that's the only way to do it. You know, we've got a great situation in front of us where I think most teams would love to be in full control of their own destiny with 4 games left in the regular season. We are right now.
These blowout wins have allowed some guys to get more reps, maybe Dom, Nick, in recent games. Is this team kind of set where it's at, or can it still evolve? If those, you look at a guy like Dom, maybe he gets his shot back. Do you think this team can still evolve, or do you kind of know where you're at?
No, I think it can evolve. I actually made this. I was kind of joking with somebody in practice yesterday. We made a trade deadline acquisition, went out and got ourselves a shooter because Dom was back to where he wasn't missing any shots in practice yesterday. So I kind of just made the joke that we were able to make an acquisition right at the trade deadline and went out and got ourselves a veteran shooter for the stretch run. So I think guys can step up. You know, it'd be great if we get Dom making shots like he has been in practice in the games. You know, we're going to give him a shot to do that. You look back at 2 years ago, Quinterly was up and down a little bit 2 years ago, and he got himself going for the stretch run in the SEC tournament. So that team was still evolving. You know, if you remember, Jordan Bruner got hurt and had to sit out a month or so, and then we had to bring him back. Like, Reese stepped up big and was able to play better when Bruner was out and kind of got – so I think you're still evolving. I think some of the freshmen are getting better and better. You know, you see, I think Jaden and Rylan Griffin, 2 particular ones that have continued to improve as the year went on. But, you know, Namari still coming back from the injury, getting back in full swing of things. I think Pringle's playing a lot better for us now than he was. You know, I think some guys are improving, and we're going to try to get everybody playing their best basketball as we come down the stretch.